Well, hello everyone. Kim Victoria here. And in today's video, I'm going to show you what I did with these two journals. And the funny thing is that I made an entire video walking you through the steps and how I made this particular journal. But as you can see, it's all put together. Uh, that video didn't work out. No necessary to go into the details, but what I can do is take you through these and talk about what I used, why I used it, what I did. And if you love to make journals, I think there's a few ideas in here that you might appreciate. At least I hope so. So these are available in my Etsy shop, at least at the time of this recording. And you can check them out there. So let's start with the one I did first. I did this one as a model, and and then I duplicated it for this one. And the way I did that was after I figured all of this out, I made myself a kit. And then I made a video of how I used that kit of putting all the parts together so I could shorten up that video a little bit. Anyway, all that aside, let's go through this. So here's the closure. And let's go through this a little bit at a time because I think I did some fun stuff in here. I had fun doing this. And what this is both of these feature Utah as the, so to speak, travel agenda. Obviously, you could use either one of these for wherever you travel. So, you know, basically the United States, but there's no rules here. Anyway, I had these fun elements. Because I'm living in Utah at the moment, I've been collecting the magazines. We have some regular magazines that come out that have all this photography and things like that. And I've also picked up scrapbook paper, fabric, little bits of travel stuff in scrapbook kits and paper pads. So wanted to use all that, right? I wanted to use the materials that I had. So that's what I did. And in this one I did first. So I made the cover with a piece of scrapbook paper, and I reinforced the spine with cloth, but I didn't want to cover up too much of my image here, so it's offset. You can see the signature stitching here. So I just offset it because the background, the back side cover is rather simple, and things could be added to that if whoever winds up with this journal wishes to. But meanwhile, that just made a nice reinforced spine to stitch through with the signature. And of course, these are brads. And these are 3 layers of cardstock glued together, hole punched in them, and just to create this little button that the twine comes around. And that worked out really well. And I reinforced it on the inside, both front and back, with some little pieces of paper. And you can see that when I cut this scrapbook paper, I folded it up so that I could create this pocket. Now, my thought around a lot of the pockets was that when somebody actually uses this as a travel journal, which I have done in my travels, is kept things in a little travel journal. So I made this hoping somebody else would have fun doing the same. That when they find brochures, when they find, cards from places that they go. So, hey, I'd like to go to this place here in Utah. So there's a nice little place to tuck it. Because, when you go to various visitor centers, my goodness, they're just loaded with brochures and cards like this. So that's something that you wind up with maybe a bag full of this stuff, and then you sort through it and you go like, well, let's see, our travel path is through this area. So we could do this and we could do this and so on and so forth. Okay, so I folded up the scrapbook paper, and a little thing that you can't see here that I wanted to mention is that when you fold up heavy paper like this, you wind up getting some buckling in the middle. So I usually cut a little V strip out of the flap so that these are 2 flaps that are actually separate from each other. It really makes a difference in how nicely the whole thing folds up. So the rest of this is pretty standard for those of you who do make journals. So we have pockets. One of the fun things I did was I used some of the smaller photographs from the magazines that I've saved. And I had a paper pad that had like these miniature postcards. It had some miniature stamps. So I pasted the postcard image onto some cardstock and then pasted the photo onto that. And you can see I did a little vignette with, you know, edging and kind of rotating that in to create that vignette effect. And it gives it more of the vintage look, such as the postcard has. So real simple stuff like that. There's another little postcard made from an image in one of the magazines. And you'll see where all these little bits of, well, there it is. Okay, so I took a very old map. I think it was a 1989 map of Utah, and I tore it up and used it for these two journals. I mean, most of it's still valid, right? Uh, some of the major highways have changed, but other than that. So both of these journals have some of the map of Utah in them. And what I did was I collaged on the back side of these from those various magazine images just to make something fun on the other side of those maps. So that's just nice fun insert, tea-dyed paper, some regular paper. It's one of those little fold-outs. So there were little pieces of map left, so that made nice little embellishments. This was from that paper pack. You can see where I glued on two of those sheets. They were 8 by 8. So I glued two of those together with a little hinge there so that that could be sewn in. And then the remainder folded over to create that nice pocket. Just a nice big writing tag there. So I did a lot of that sort of thing. And another one of the paper pads had some of these fun things. So kind of like a prompt. Same thing over here. We had a little bit of a prompt of when you took the vacation, when you took the trip, and points of interest that were planned in. Okay. This should have been a pocket, but I forgot. But it actually has points of interest in Utah. So that would have been a nice pocket, but I forgot. So it's all pasted in, but that's okay. You know, that's another thing. So just a few little bits and bobs, another postcard, little tag. This is fun. This was an actual envelope gotten in the mail. So it was big enough to just fold it and create a pocket for maybe receipts from the travels, like park entrance fees and things like that. And there was a label on it, so I pasted some more images to block out that label. These are all from local magazines. And the center is, again, a big piece of paper folded up. This is from a paper pad. I had a couple of these. This is another writing spot. And that's just a piece of paper for a little more writing spot. I mean, whatever one wants to use. We're starting to get to the second half, so you can start writing down places that you went and the fun that you had and what you saw. Another half of that envelope. And this is both a flip out and a pocket. So again, I created that vignette to make it look antique on a postcard, fake postcard kind of thing. I suppose, because this is a bigger size, you could put a real stamp on here and mail that. That is a possibility. Okay, so on this one, I did want to trim all these pages so that they were nice and neat, as you can see, all nice and level. Well, when I went to fold these back, I was trying to fold them back enough to avoid being trimmed off. Well, I didn't quite do that over here. this one got trimmed off and I was left with this strip, so I turned it into a belly band, right? Another little writing card. Another pocket. I think that's Zion. Another side of the other side of the map. Some little extra things. This was just such a nice big picture. This is really fun. What I did was I had these large mailing labels. So all I had to do was peel back a little bit of the protective paper and lay it over this photograph and then peel it back. And so now this is a mailing label used as a backing for one of those thin magazine pages. It worked great. So there's an idea for you. You might enjoy using. So that's just a big writing spot. And if somebody wanted to, they could fold that up and it would fit better in one of the pockets. So I'm just leaving it whole as an option for whatever somebody wants to do with it. And then I had lots of leftovers. So I went, why not? I'm just going to go ahead and put in some of these photos that I didn't use. I mean, they're lovely, but I've made these 2 journals, and here's some of the little colorful pieces that were in back, little bits of map, all that sort of thing. So whoever winds up with this, they can do their own decorating. And again, that's just a little piece to cover up the back of the brad. So there was my ideas, and that's what I created. And this one is almost the same, just a little bit different. We have the pocket. Remember to bring. This is a really cool thing to remember. I've had a master list of things to bring for whatever it is we're doing. And my husband and I did a lot of vending events, and we're still doing vending events, selling stuff, mainly his children's books at this point. And if I didn't have my master list, oh, we would forget so many things because you know how it is when you travel. There's so many details. And if you have children, there's even more details. But if you have a master list, you could have a master list for everybody in the family, and they could do their own putting together. Oh my God, it helps so much. So we do have the brochure pockets. We have little extra pockets, little writing spots. This is sort of a pocket within a tag kind of thing. So I did a few little different things. I did some of the same. Collage on the back of the map, a couple of postcards with a little flip out. I did a better job on this one of not cutting it off. It's another attractions and the date. A little pocket, another pocket. This, I didn't have a second envelope, so I just folded up a piece of scrapbook paper and bound it really low so there'd be room for things to stick out on top. Another pocket. This pocket's just made with the magazine page photo. And that's another postcard with a little vignetting to make it look a little more antique. In your travels, you all might have fun figuring out, now, where was that photo taken? Just another little flip out. Here's the centerfold. I did hand stitching the 3-hole pocket stitch on both of these. Another little collage on a big tag. Daily details, sort of like prompts for writing. Another little extra tuck spot. Another pocket. This is another pocket. Just a little flip out. You could, of course, add another little notepad to some of those pockets. Backside of the map. And again, one of the magazine pages using a address label just stuck on, and a bunch of stuff. So some of those pockets could be occupied by your own little, make your own little cards and things like that. Okay, fun stuff, fun to play with, fun to use. Of course, there is a pocket here. It's a little bit on the tight side, so you wouldn't want to be doing too much thickness with that. And there we go. So there's that one. And this is extra long. Of course, whoever has it, you can cut off the extra, but I know that this is going to get fatter and fuller by the time park tickets, park receipts, and more photos or cards or things, maybe you pick up a couple of stickers at the visitor centers. It's going to get fatter, so you're going to need a little more string, but I'll let whoever winds up with this cut off their excess. So I hope this was interesting and inspiring, and whatever state or province or country you might be living in at the moment, you too probably have brochures and magazines and fun things that you could make your own journal, or say you've got somebody visiting. You could make a journal for them so when they're traveling around, they have a place to put their mementos. So I hope you had fun watching this. Thank you for watching. And, if you like it, you know the usual. Push the button down below and tell me you like it and tell me why, if you will. Um, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye for now.